Okay, Graham from Concept Music again, delving a little bit deeper into how to buy a second-hand instrument, specifically a trombone. Obviously a personal favourite of mine. This is what I play, so I'm very happy to talk to you about buying a second-hand trombone. For general guidelines on all instruments, please refer to our previous video where we talk about, in general, what should you look for when you're buying a second-hand brass or wind instrument. The instrument I've got here today is my favourite student instrument. It's a Yamaha YSL 154, but the guidelines I'll give you apply to any trombone. And the good news is about trombone is there's almost no moving parts. Very easy to assess whether it's in good condition and whether it's worth buying or not. And as I've said before about the other instruments, or as I've said before about looking at a second-hand car, on a trombone any damage will be obvious. So by picking it up and looking at it, you can see very quickly whether it's got dents, whether it's got scratches, whether it's got constricting dents in the end here where it's been dropped. Most of it, if it looks in good condition and everything is nice and shiny, you're probably okay. Specific things to check with a trombone: the tuning slide. Make sure the tuning slide slides in and out. Trombones, yes, they do need tuning, despite the fact they've got a big slide. So that tuning slide should be moving in and out nice and firmly. If it doesn't, we can repair it for you. It can be serviced, but you'll need to factor in the cost of a service or repair into the price. The most important and delicate part of the trombone is the slide. So again, very easy to assess whether it's any good or not, whether it's been damaged or not. But because it's very long, because of the style of the instrument, they do tend to get knocked and the slides tend to get dented. So the thing you want to check most carefully is the slide. And obviously you do that just by sliding in and out. If it feels very rough or dented, or worse, doesn't move at all, or it stops halfway, you've obviously got problems. You may be able to feel the dents. A great trick is to take a cloth with you, run it up and down the slide through your fingers, and you will feel very, very quickly if there's any dents in the slide and why it's not operating smoothly. If it's just a bit slow to move, but there's no dents in it, it probably just needs to be a good clean. You can check whether a trombone needs cleaning very quickly just by taking the slide off like that, looking through the end of it, hold it up to the light, hold it up to a window, and if it's full of dirt, you know it needs a good clean out. If it's full of dirt along the slide here, you know it needs a good clean and probably a good wash, and it might come back good again. But if it feels nice and smooth, even if it's a bit slow, it's okay. It's dents that are going to cause the problem, and of course being so vulnerable to knocking on stands or furniture, that can happen quite easily. Run your fingers up and down through a cloth, feel the slide. If you feel dents, they'll feel very obvious when we use that cloth trick to feel the slide. But if it looks in good condition, everything's shiny, hasn't got constrictive dents in it, you're probably okay. What should I pay for it? A brand new trombone's around $1,100 or $1,200 for a good student instrument like the Yamaha. We would again say about half to 2/3 of that as a reasonable second-hand price. So $1,100 new, $600 to $700 second-hand for an instrument that's less than a couple of years old. But the good news on trombone, there's no corks, there's no felts, there's no pads, there's one spring to check for the water key. Pretty easy to check yourself. Take your child with you, get them to play it. If the slide feels good, the tuning slide moves, it's good to go. Worst case scenario, book it in for repair. If it's got a couple of very minor dents, you're looking at $110 to have it serviced and cleaned properly. Check the mouthpiece, make sure that hasn't been dropped. A new mouthpiece, not a problem to replace. Again, just factor it into the price. $80 or $90 for a brand new Yamaha mouthpiece, which you might want to get anyway, rather than use somebody's old one, particularly if it's been dropped and dented. But trombone, wonderful instrument. The world needs more trombone players. Any questions, you're welcome to give me a call or send me an email and I'll look after you.